Hi, I'm Amanda Rowell, and I'm here today to talk to you about three scary stories. What was that? You might hear some scary noises in the background. Not sure if you heard that or not. But today we're going to talk about three favorites. The first is The Dollhouse Murders, written by Betty Wren Wright. The next will be by Took by Mary Downing Hahn, a ghost story. And the third one, Skeleton Man by Joseph Brugschach. We'll talk about each of these individually, but the first is Dollhouse Murders. Amy is a young girl in the story who goes shopping with her friends and is always having to take care of her little sister Luann. Luann has made her upset, so she runs away from home one evening and ends up at her great grandparents' home, where she finds out Aunt Claire is living at the time. She decides to stay for a few days and discovers lots of things in the house that she's never seen before. One is a dollhouse, and it's a replica of the actual house she's staying in. It was given to Claire when she was a young girl by her parents. So Amy decides she wants to play with it, but Aunt Claire doesn't want her to touch it. So it's left in the attic, covered up. But one night, Amy decides to sneak up in the attic, and as she does, the dollhouse has come to life. So Amy is startled by that. So she leaves it and comes back the next day to see that the dollhouse is not how she left it. Things have been moved in the dollhouse that she did not move herself. So several days go by, and Amy decides again to go up to see what's going on with the dollhouse. She uncovers it, opens it, plays with it, and then when she comes back later that night, again, things have been changed. Surely not a dollhouse I want to play with, but she does want to find out what's going on with the dollhouse. Actually, the grandparents were murdered 30 years prior in that same house. So the dollhouse is actually acting out what happened in the murder. Will they find out who killed Grandma and Grandpa? Have to read to find out. So now let me talk to you about Took, a ghost story by Mary Downing Hahn. It takes place in Woodsville, West Virginia. I'm from West Virginia, and I've definitely heard some stories over the years. But this story takes place in a small town where Daniel and his family have forced to move since his parents lost their jobs. So him and his little sister have to make big adjustments moving into the small town. They decide to go out and play and explore their house and explore the woods behind their house. But the kids at school tell them, better be careful of those woods and the old auntie. Who's old auntie? They want to know who. But they do discover that a little girl named Celine 50 years ago disappeared in those woods and was never found. So they start to explore the woods. Daniel's little sister Erica, her doll, starts to whisper to her and tell her things and tells her to keep secrets. Ooh, secrets are always scary and good to hear. I thought I heard some whisper. Anyway, Daniel decides he's going to follow his sister one day into the woods and see what she's doing, because this doll keeps talking to her. Well, several days later, Erica disappears. Her doll was left behind. So he has to go and tell his parents that he can't find his sister. And as they start looking in the woods and searching for her, they find another little girl. But it's not his sister. It's Celine, the girl from 50 years ago. She hasn't aged a day. She's still the same age she was 50 years ago when she disappeared. So now where can Erica be? Could it be that they've traded places? And now Erica is where Celine lives? You'll just have to read to find out. And do they find Erica? Does the doll help them find her and help them find their way back? Took, a ghost story by Mary Downing Hahn. It's a good read. Hi, now we're on to Skeleton Man, a book by Joseph Brugschach. Skeleton Man. Oh, have you ever sat around the fire and told ghost stories and told tales that you've heard from long ago? Well, that's exactly what the Mohawk and Native Americans do a lot, is they sit around their campfires and tell tales that they've heard from their parents and their parents and their grandparents, that they've talked to their children and told them stories and folklore, that things that have happened over time. and really try to scare you a little bit. So Skeleton Man dabbles in that a little bit. So Molly is our main character, and her father is from a Mohawk tribe. And he tells some folklore to her as a child and tales that they've heard over time. So she keeps those memories fresh, especially after her parents have disappeared. She starts wondering what's happened. An old uncle comes into play, and the uncle kind of reminds her of a folklore her father told her about when she was a child, and that's of the Skeleton Man. The Skeleton Man was a man that had a taste for human flesh, and so he started to eat his own flesh until he had eaten all the flesh, and then he started eating others. And so that's a folklore that she was told, and kind of this uncle that's appeared to take her now that her parents are gone, he reminds her of this. So she's very cautious as to what she tells this new uncle of hers and starts to question where her parents may be. So overall, Molly has to rely on her Mohawk wisdom that her parents have instilled in her, especially her father and the stories he've told her. But she has to rely on that wisdom and guidance and follows her dreams. She starts having these really crazy dreams and she starts listening to them and let them guide her. So we'll have to find out if she does find her parents in the end. And does she find them through her dreams? What an unusual way to find your parents. But again, that is Skeleton Man by Joseph Bruhawk. I hope you've enjoyed our talk about all three of these books. Again, the first one was The Dollhouse Murders by Betty Wren Wright, with Amy and the dollhouse that come to life in the attic. And then the other one was Took, a ghost story by Mary Downing Hahn, where we have our little friend who disappeared in the woods and have to find out if she's found. So 3 great books that we've talked about today. I've enjoyed sharing those with you. I hope that you find something that you're like to read, whether it's scary stories or something funny or fantasy. We always like to get a good escape with our books and find a new way to embrace the world and go on an adventure. Have a good one. Bye.